These challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The new financier is China Development Bank. That is all. There is nothing new here.
Senate approves new financier for the Kaduna-Kano Railway project.
This includes 100% completion and testing of the plant.
And Senate gives conditions for the concessioning of Zungeru Hydro Power Plant. This is Inside the Senate, and I am Hussaina Abin Aboki, your anchor. The Senate on Wednesday the 5th of April 2023 adjourned for the Easter and Eid-El-Fitr break. Plenary is built to resume on Tuesday the 25th of April 2023. Before the adjournment, the Senate considered several matters presented for legislative actions. Amongst these are the change of financiers for the loan required for the execution of the Kaduna-Kano Railway project, alongside issues concerning the concession of Zungeru Hydro-Electric Power Plant in Niger State, amongst other things. Please stay tuned for the full package after the break.
The Senate to send a message to the President
To reap opportunities from that.
Raise a matter of urgent public importance, and we are aware that when this particular motion comes up for a longer term development, arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. At the commencement of plenary on Tuesday the 4th of April 2023, the Senate acted towards replacing China Exim Bank with China Development Bank as financier of a loan of $22.798 billion meant for the construction of the Kaduna-Kano Railway project. In a motion on this, sponsored by Senator Sadiq Suleiman Umar, entitled Rescission of the 2016 to 2018 Federal Government External Borrowing Plan, he recalled that the amount was earlier on planned to be supported by China Exim Bank, approved in resolution by the Senate on the 5th of March 2020 and House of Representatives on the 2nd of June 2020. He added, however, that China Exim Bank declined its support for the loan as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, following which the need arose to engage another financier. He then spoke on the efforts to secure new funding for the project.
To secure funds for the project, the contractor CCECC Nigeria Limited, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Transportation, engaged China Development Bank (CDB) as the new financier in the sum of $973,474,971.38 United States dollar only.
Senators sought more clarification on the two conflicting figures occurring in the motion.
The way and manner this motion is couched is so sketchy for any informed decision to be taken. First, the first loan was said to be, it's said to be $22.7 million, okay? And the second one is $973,400. We need to know if of this $22.7 million, if there was any disbursement before the arrangement for this second loan.
What we have here is $22,798,460,773 United States dollars. A cumulative loan that we approved here in this Senate. Unfortunately, the China Exim Bank declined to give money for Kaduna, Zaria, Kano. And the Ministry of Transportation in conjunction with the Ministry of Finance, decided to look for another financier. And this financier is now China Exim Bank. Sorry, China Development Bank. So all we need to do is to deduct this particular amount meant for Kaduna area from the cumulative amount.
This submission of $22.7 billion was in respect of so many, about 4 or 5 projects under the 2016 to 2018 external borrowing plan. Incidentally, some of the other projects were approved, apart from this particular project that has to do with the railway, what is one on the Kano segment. So because the financier declined to finance this project, so they have to look for additional, look for somebody, a contractor, to finance this particular segment of the rolling plan.
The financier for this particular project, that is the project Kaduna-Kano segment of the project had China Exim Bank. That was our approval. So the decision is on this particular financier, that the new financier is China Development Bank. That is all. There is nothing new here.
Accordingly, the Senate, in a resolution, rescinded its decision on the financier and approved the change of financier from China Exim Bank to China Development Bank. In another development, 2 states of the Federation have presented their resolutions on the Constitution amendment. The report on this and other activities of the Senate are compiled and presented from our studio.
On behalf of 29 other members of the committee.
The Chairman, Senate Committee on Constitution Amendment and Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovie Omo-Agege, made the announcement in which he disclosed that Oyo and Zamfara states have joined the 25 states that have given their resolution on the 44 bills transmitted to them for perusal.
Now, Oyo and Zamfara State House of Assembly have accordingly forwarded their resolutions. With the approval of Oyo and Zamfara State House of Assembly, the Constitution 5th Alteration Bill number 47, Establishment of State Security Council, has met the provisions of Section 9, Subsection 2 of the Constitution for passage.
I want to join the DSP to also urge Mr. President for his assent, and we are still working on the 19 bills that have not been assented to see how much of them we can find common grounds without compromising on the essence of those bills for Mr. President to assent some of them or all of them where possible.
As a result, the Senate in its resolution directed the Clerk of the National Assembly to transmit the bill to Mr. President for his assent in line with the provisions of the Act's Authentication Act.
Revenue projection arising from the concession of the power plant project.
The Senate also considered the report of the Committee on Power on the ongoing bids to concession the 700 megawatts Zungeru Hydro-Electric Power Plant in Niger State. After thoroughly investigating the matter, the committee chairman, Senator Gabriel Suswan, presented their recommendation.
The Federal Minister of Power should liaise with stakeholders to concession the power plant in order to resolve or identify constraints that will frustrate the noble objective of the concession. This includes 100% completion and testing of the plant to confirm that 700 megawatts was delivered by the contractor, completion of the 35-kilometer 132 kV transmission line to Tegina substation as a precondition for the evacuation of the 700 megawatts to be generated from the plant.
The report attracted the following comments.
What caused the controversy over Zungeru Power Plant was the news we received that it has been sold
for 700 million US dollars. And the cost of construction of this power plant is well over 2.2 billion naira. So, billion dollars, sorry. It's well over 2.2 billion US dollars. It doesn't make sense for a project that has been constructed, completed at 2.2 billion naira to be sold for $700 million. Mr. President, this is a lift up, and this Senate had the responsibility to stop it. Very few people sat and took that decision. And there is no transparency whatsoever in the way that transaction was done.
Zungeru should be allowed to be completed, commissioned, and tested. And then the concessioning processes should be very, very transparent. Should be transparent. When you are announcing the dates, you should give all those grades according to how the rules or the law has given. But not doing that, I think, Your Excellency, we are just going to deliberate here and nothing will change.
Project should be completed with the transmission. We want a 2 kV transmission put in place for the evacuation of that power. Otherwise, this one will just be another white elephant project, which, of course, our countrymen and women will not benefit from.
As a result, the report was adopted alongside other recommendations of the committee, one of which is that the Federal Ministry of Power and other relevant MDAs to the proposed concession be advised to ensure transparency in terms of budgetary releases made by the federal government for payment to the project consultants or to cover other aspects of the power plant outside the loan secured by the federal government to finance the project. Still in the week under review, the Senate considered President Muhammadu Buhari's request for the issuance of a promissory note in the sum of 6.601 billion naira for Plateau State as well as 3.084 billion naira for Borno State, all in respect of federal roads projects they executed on behalf of the federal government. The request was referred to the Committee on Local and Foreign Debt for more legislative action and to report back in 2 weeks.
Those were reports of some of the decisions of the Senate during plenary last week. Inside the Senate, we'll now take a break to open the Senate notebook. Don't go away.
Constituency projects are developmental activities aimed at bringing the dividends of democracy by the federal and state governments to the doorstep of the constituents. They are awarded, financed and executed by the relevant agencies of the executive arm of government with the elected representatives of the people in the national and state assemblies playing only the role of identifying projects most relevant to the need of their constituents. By extension, the legislators have no direct control over the financing of constituency projects. The role they play is to ensure that what they have identified as the need of their constituents are properly executed for their benefits.
Welcome back. The program continues with more reports from plenary. The Senate has approved the Conference Committee report on the Peace Corps of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2022. Senator Siriaki Dixon presented the report on behalf of the chairman, Senator Kashim Shettima. The report on this alongside other matters are compiled and presented from our studio.
With the name National Unity and Peace Corps of Nigeria, the House version.
In the presentation, Senator Siriaki Dixon disclosed that the need to harmonize the difference in the name between the Senate and House version of the bill led to the constitution of the Conference Committee. He added that while the Senate passed the bill with the name National Unity and Peace Corps, the House adopted the name of Nigerian Peace Corps.
The both chambers, as represented by the committees duly constituted in accordance with the standing orders, met and considered this singular discrepancy and adopted
the House version. And the committee recommended that the House version, which retained the word Peace Corps of Nigeria as a title, be retained.
The report was approved for transmission to President Buhari for his assent.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Another report was that of the Committee on Solid Minerals Development and Metallurgy on the Nigerian Minerals Development Corporation Establishment Bill 2023. It was presented by Senator Umaru Tanko Almakura, who spoke on the essence of the bill.
The essence of this bill is to ensure that the outfit NMDC, Nigerian Mining Development Corporation, would be a strategic vehicle in driving the diversification of the Nigerian economy. Solid minerals development is one of the 9 priority areas of stabilizing the macro economy and also build our economy from being a monoproduct economy to a more diversified one. This bill will unbundle the solid mineral sector to enhance more purposeful execution of the upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors in order to facilitate participation by major investors, small-scale and artisanal miners, and also provide the effective private sector participation.
With no debate taken, the report was considered clause by clause in the Committee of the Whole, leading to the third reading and passage of the bill.
Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari presented an executive bill for Senate consideration. It was titled Nigerian Police Colleges and Training Institutions Establishment Bill 2023. The president in the latter gave the objectives of the institutions when established.
The Nigeria Police Force College, Training School and Institution Establishment (ETC) Bill 2023 seeks to provide a comprehensive legal and institutional framework for the establishment of the Nigeria Police Force College, Training School and Institution for the provision of specialized training to police officers in the field of policing and law enforcement in order to enhance their performance in accordance with the provisions of the Nigeria Police Act.
As an executive bill, it was listed for first reading the following day, Wednesday, the 5th of April 2023.
You're still onto the program Inside the Senate. Last week, Senator Gershom Bassey, under matters of urgent public importance, drew Senate attention to the delay in the internment of the body of a former president of the Senate who served from 1979 to 1983, Senator Joseph Wires, who died on the 30th of November 2021.
That the remains of the late Senator Joseph, of the late Senate President, Senator Joseph Wires, is yet to be buried. The Senate is concerned that this delay is an embarrassment to the National Assembly and to the nation that he headed between 1979 and 1983 and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Senate is troubled that further delay in the burial of Nigeria's Second Republic Senate President will put the nation in bad light.
Senators who contributed to the motion expressed regret at this.
If a former president dies, the entire executive, the National Assembly, the judiciary will be joined together to bury him. Same thing to the judiciary. So why is it not possible that the federal government extend a hand of fellowship to the one that chairs or heads the National Assembly? I think we should take it up and correct it so that in subsequent ones, when some of our presiding officers grow very old, like 120 and 30, like your good self, 150 years, the then federal government at that time, we know that they have a responsibility to perform.
It was very disturbing find out that even the money to convey his corpse from the United Kingdom to Nigeria wasn't available. This has brought to the fore the need to provide something, maybe, if you like, sort of provision for our presiding officers when they leave office. Because this is what is bringing about corruption. If someone realizes that when he's out of office and he's in problem, nobody comes to his help, of course he will find a way of getting something for himself. This is really what is encouraging corruption in this country.
The Senate President also commented.
Former Senate President Joseph Wire served as Senate President of the Second Republic, and he served with distinction. And the federal government of Nigeria has the responsibility to provide for his medical needs, honestly. And when he died, and for 14 months or so, his body still remains outside the country. It's not a good commentary on us as a country. And I believe that even though it may sound self-serving, because unfortunately I am a sitting or serving presiding officer, why shouldn't the presiding officers of the National Assembly not have some medical support?
The following resolution was adopted on the motion. Urge the federal government to act quickly towards according Senator Joseph Wire's a befitting state burial. Similarly, the Senate formally announced the death of Mrs. Ifeoma Orji Uzokalu, wife of the Senate Whip Senator Orji Uzokalu. The sad event occurred on Sunday, the 3rd of April 2023.
On behalf of the Senate, I've already condoled with the Chief Whip and the rest of the family, and we have written a letter to that effect.
A minute's silence was observed in her honor.
May the gentle soul of late Ifeoma Orji Uzokalu rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Our profile segment is next. Stand by for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Saidu Alkali represents Gombe North Senatorial District of Gombe State under APC. Born on the 12th of February 1969, he holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics. He held advisory positions to the Governor of Gombe State from 2003 to 2008 and Commissioner of Information in Gombe State. He was elected to the Senate in August 2010 after the death of the then incumbent Senator Kaupeto Duku, and re-elected in 2011 to represent Gombe North Senatorial District from 2011 to 2015. And for the third time, he contested in the 2019 general elections, this time under the APC, to represent the same senatorial district. In the Senate, he is Chairman Senate Committee on National Population, as well as a member of several other committees. His legislative interests include education, agricultural development, as well as security.
With that, we come to the end of the program Inside the Senate. The program will return next week with another fresh package of legislative business in the Senate wing of the National Assembly. Until then, thanks for watching.